Well, welcome everyone. My name is Michelle Delgado with Heart Metrics Consulting and the host of the show Heart Inspired. Like the title, my goal is to invite guests who use their voice to inspire and motivate positive change. Joining me today is Ryan Clark. Ryan, are we calling you RC or Ryan Clark? Which one do you prefer?
We're going with Ryan. Yeah, it was RC in the United States. Now that I'm here in Rio, it's a lot easier for people to say Ryan, even though they still get it wrong. They say Heon because they don't pronounce R like R. But yeah, let's go with Ryan.
Okay, so today, joining me today is Ryan Clark, a marketing specialist who works with coaches such as myself to create charismatic content that connects us with clients who will be inspired to work with us. Today's theme of this episode is about using our voice to identify who we are in the social media world. The social media, the necessary evil. So, a little bit about Ryan, and then we're going to get right into it, is he is on a mission to spread good ideas, to outshine negative marketing, open minds to worldly thinking, and eradicate fear of failure. Oh my goodness, we're really going to dive into that. He helps coaches do the same by showing them how to create charismatic content that connects to their dreams. Clients inspire, it connects to their dream, clients inspire them to work with them. So welcome, Ryan, to the show. I'm so happy to have you back. Talking to me directly, I haven't met you in person, but we've been on a couple of Zoom calls and worked together. So it's nice to reconnect with you.
Yeah,
So you mentioned Rio. Can you share with the audience what your journey was like from the States to Rio and why Rio? I mean, of all beautiful places, but share a little bit about you.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in short, so my mother is Brazilian, so I've got a lot of family here. But it's always been a mission of mine to travel and be immersed in different cultures and with different people, because I believe that one of the reasons why there's war and hate in the world, of all kinds, is because people are afraid of each other. We're afraid of what we don't know. We're afraid of what we don't understand. So when we see other people doing different things, living different types of lives, whether it's an economic status or their religion or their culture, then we have an excuse to hate. And but it's part of our kind of DNA to be closed into our own groups and be fearful of others too. But so my idea is that if I can be in different places and share stories about different people and different situations, that can alleviate this kind of fear. So that's kind of my kicking off place here was in Rio. But I'll tell you what, I only planned to be here for a year. And then after 8 months, I was like, man, I can't, I can't leave this place. It's so beautiful. And there's so many great people and great food and energy. And it's been almost 2 years now. And honestly, I don't plan on leaving. It's kind of a lesson in and of itself that I thought I really needed to see everything and go everywhere and do all of that. And I'm realizing that, you know, it's the like your family and your home, and you can find all of those things right where you are. And if you don't actually stay in one place, if you don't actually really go deep into a culture and people and a place, you actually can never learn those things, and you can't actually share what's really there. So, so that's why I'm in Rio. I guess, and then short on the other side, I had, I've been studying marketing since I was in college, almost 10, 12, 13 years, something like that. And I had a video production company and kind of had a falling out with partners. It could be one of those failures, as maybe we'll talk about.
Yep.
And then, did some other marketing things, and then found coaching, and, never looked back, just doing something. I finally, I was just able to do something I love and that I'm best at, and share that, and have a business where I can travel wherever I want. So,
Well,
yeah.
that's incredible that you are using your voice and your experience to create some community, um, minimize some hate, and learn about your own family culture. So kudos to you for all of that. And then being able to be in a business nowadays, I guess even before COVID, people worked remote, but more so even now. And now taking it a step further, not only just working remote, but working in an entirely different country. So that's pretty amazing. And to wake up to amazing beaches in Rio, yeah, it's not too shabby. Not too shabby, Ryan.
Uh, Not at all. Yeah.
And learning the language and eating all the amazing food and yeah, all of that. So you talked a little bit about your identity as a marketer and an influence. What's the one thing about marketing that drew you in? What is it? What's that? Is it the science of it? Is it just because it seemed cool? What was it for you?
Mhm. Yeah, I think a couple things. And you know, it's so my mission, my like main mission in life is to spread good ideas. So I was in my college campus sophomore year and I'm thinking like, what do I want to do? What do I want to study? Like that's kind of the year you're supposed to decide your major and all that. And I didn't really know. And I mean, I knew I was kind of interested in business and but I liked a lot of other things. And it's like raining, I'm from Seattle. It's like raining on my campus on this like red brick place outside the library. And then I don't, for some reason, I just got this like lightning strike of an idea. And the idea was like spread good ideas. And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? I don't know, but like that's it. It's like that's the mission. Okay, spreading the good ideas. There's a lot of bad ideas in the world, and I can use my powers to spread the good ones. So how do I do that? Business. Okay, what does that mean? That means marketing. Marketing is sharing ideas. I can represent and share good companies so that people make good decisions to support good companies. And that in turn will support great leaders and great ideas. So that was that. And so everything I do stems from that. Literally everything in my life stems from how can I spread good ideas. And storytelling was really the thing though. Like, am I a marketer? Am I
Yeah.
a content specialist? And I'm like, I guess, but really I'm a storyteller. And that's what lights me up about marketing and about content. Like, I love working with clients and I love teaching stuff. And like finding new ways to help my clients learn and for myself too. But really, I just love creating content. Like I love writing and I love making videos. And that is just, the biggest joy for me. And, is teaching and creating and telling stories. And that's really the most important thing about marketing, I think.
Why? So I'm going to go a step further because it's storytelling. There are people who are movie, producers, writers, authors who write books who love the story. The marketing to me is, it's the short-lived, what's now, there's a science to it. There's a what's in it now, what's trending, what's going to land with a client to work with a coach or any other business. Um, so to me, it's short-lived, but a story stays, you know, around in somebody's head. It's a memory that people connect to. So why the short as opposed to being something more of a movie, writer or Broadway, whatever it is? Why the short version for
Mm.
you?
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I think I can make the biggest impact as a marketer. And it's
Okay.
like the easiest way to make a big impact. And it's the
Okay.
easiest way to teach other people how to do the same. So to fulfill this mission of spreading good ideas, like it's incredibly, and I even, had a video production company and was really involved in film, but it's I was able to create this business and tell stories, every day about things that just happened to me in life, share those with my following. And I can grow this business as big as I want, bring in more and more people. I can grow it to help bigger and bigger companies if I
Yeah.
want. It's been a mission of mine to start a kind of nonprofit someday so I can use my marketing skill to do that. So
Yep.
it's really the power to spread an idea, the power to know how to attract attention, how to influence people. I've been I've learned learning things about human psychology and persuasion and copywriting. So even beyond storytelling, it's about the ability to influence other people and
Okay.
influence them for the way that I see fit. And then at the same time, I can teach my marketing systems to an exponential amount of people, and then the ideas can keep growing. So you can do that with movies, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm a business person, and I like to make money and grow a business, and you know, I can. It's just such an easier path than it seemed like moving to LA and make movies or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Um, we touched on it early on in the intro about failure. And so, like any business owner, starting out, even, business owners who've been around for a while, seasoned business owners, successful business owners, um, what's a message you can share about failure that you've learned?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like keep going, and you never really fail, and you have to have a really strong belief system. Like for me, I have this belief that everything in my life is here for my best good, that God, this universe is always bringing me the exact thing that I need, the right thing. And what I have right now is the right thing. And this is what I need to use and pay attention to get to where I want to go. And a lot of times I might want to get somewhere, but I don't know. It's not about the specific place that I'm going to get to. I know that I'll be in the right place. So even if I say I want to, yeah, move at some certain time, which it took me like 3, 4 times as long to build the business as I thought and be able to move to this country as I thought. So it's never about that. It's just that I know that wherever I end up is the right place. And that as long as I keep going, then the journey is going to look different. Maybe like I tried to be a freelance writer for 6 months or so and just like write blogs and stuff. And that felt great. But that wasn't the right thing. I spent another 6 months applying for jobs in a marketing position for nonprofits, and I got really close. God, finding jobs is tough. My God, it's always so
Well,
hard.
it is.
Rounds of even interviews, and I got so close, and then I'm just like, man, this sucks. Isn't quite working. And then then the idea of coaching happened, and then that was like, wow, I think this is it. And then that was a struggle. So it's always been about freedom. I want to live a life of the most freedom possible. And I tried a lot of things. I had a video production company. Like I said, we were going for 3, 4 years. And then one day my partners, they basically just quit and say, like, we're done. They even wanted to do something, on their own. They thought it's all my fault. This is like a whole nother story in and of itself. But there was that too. I thought that was my vehicle for freedom, have this production company and we travel. And then it wasn't. And then there's a few more things and it wasn't. But I've always been able to see life this way, and I don't
So
know
for
how I
you,
can.
so for
Yeah.
you, Ryan, do you see that every, like the 6 months, the 3 years, were those failures or those signs that you were just supposed to be redirected to something else? And even if you did feel like it was a failure, what is it? What's some of the process that you took? What's the feeling? What's the emotion? And how long did you take to recover and maybe shift to something else?
Mm. Yeah, I think it is a shift. Like things
Hmm.
flowed into each other. Like I was
Hmm.
trying something, it's kind of not working. And
Hmm.
then it's not that I gave up and thought, I never gave up on something and thought this isn't working. It's just that then another idea started to creep in. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to still do this. I'm not just going to give up on this, but I'm going to try a little bit of this next idea and see how that goes. And then that
Hmm.
would take off. I'm like, okay, no, this feels right. I'm going to dedicate to this. And so in a way is a transition, but then the next is very fast. Maybe after my production company thing, that was really hurt. I was pretty like shocked,
Yeah.
but almost I was kind of shocked. And then I took a break, maybe a couple weeks, and tried to think about what I was going to do and stuff. But also almost the instant it happened, it was like, okay, what is the next thing? I'm going to find the next thing. And that's how it's been. So it's also been always very fast. And again, it's just from this belief system that I know that no matter what happens, if it seems like a break, it's not. It's going to push me into the place that I need to go.
So you don't really sit in despair too long.
No, I can't
Well,
say I
that's a
do.
good thing. It doesn't paralyze you. So your recovery is pretty quick. And if there's a lesson learned for the audience, what would be some of your tactics for recovery? Because not everybody sees it that way. A failure sometimes can really knock somebody to the core. I mean, if you had a business partner and they walked away, that could really knock someone to a core. There's financial, impact, there's emotional impact, there's the partnership, that the trust impact, all of those things that came into play.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you do that you can share?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll preface by saying like, I'm a pretty young guy, I'm 32 right now, and I think in my life and career, I haven't been so invested into a company that maybe like I've worked for or in like that, where things have gone on for years and years and years. And I was building, like I've one of my clients right now, he built an 8-figure business, and he did that for a long time, and he got so burnt out, and just it was not what he wanted to do, and he had to stop. And I know for him, like that impact was, it's probably bigger than, he's put more time and energy into doing that than I've ever put into something. So yeah, so with that kind of preface, maybe there will be a time where I'm gonna get knocked on my ass and completely like like and
So
have
that
to deal
hasn't happened yet
with
for
that.
you.
Maybe, yeah, I don't think just that hasn't happened. But yeah, I think I can't it's tough to say if there's a tactic or a technique. Like I really think that you've got to find ways to reframe the way that you see life. And for me, it's a deeply spiritual kind of thing. It comes
Mm.
from books that I've read, um, like spiritual types of books and philosophies and frameworks, I guess, that I've read and just embodied, that I really feel that this life is for me to give me the best things. And if something happens, and it's backed by evidence, everything in my life, whenever something negative has seemed to happen, and when I've thought this way, the right thing has come.
Mm.
So I don't know if there's any like quick fix to getting over failure. I doubt it.
Yeah,
I
no. And everybody is different in that. Um, in your business world, can you think of a time that your technique, your offering has been criticized? And if so, how did you handle it?
Mhm.
Because social
Yeah,
media, when you're out there, and everybody's got an opinion, everybody's got a comment. Not everybody's your fan. So, talk to us about that.
yeah, yeah. Well, kind of recently, maybe about a month ago. So this wasn't a post, but it was somebody who was maybe we were going to work together, and I sent him um, a letter about like a Google Doc that explained my program. And basically, so we had like an initial call, and they said, "Hey, I'm going to send you this document that goes over this intensive that I do." And I sent it to him, and he sent me a message back. He said, first of all, I think this document really sucks. Like I got to the second page, and I went through, I didn't see anything really valuable that made sense other than the price, which seemed fairly reasonable. And I was like, man, like what a way to like respond to something
Yeah.
after just having a conversation and just saying like he was really like, that's exactly what he said. He was like, this sucks. Like, wow. And so the thing is, though, I get it, because I have a style and I have a different way of doing marketing. Like I'm a very, very based in direct response marketing, which is very targeted and very explicit and descriptive in language. And a lot of times, like I believe that, hey, the more you can, everyone's just short, 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 bullet punchy stuff these days, which is definitely great and has its place. But I think that if you can get someone to read something longer and you make it really entertaining and story based, the longer you can get someone to read or be invested into your message, the more sold, the more bought in they're going to be, the more they can understand what's going on. And that's why targeting is so important. So on the one hand, it's like, okay, my style isn't right for him. But the other thing I realized thinking about this is that I think most criticism is self-interested. A lot of time, most times people criticize stuff not because they think like you suck or your work sucks, but it's because they have their own opinion and they have their own something going on, and they're trying to criticize you so that they can get something for themselves.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah.
It's like, in him criticizing me, he was trying, and then he wrote me like, this much of a screen of like these things that he wants with his business and what he's looking for. And why do you think this didn't work? So after he told me my stuff sucked, he tried to sell me on working with him. He's like, if you can explain this to me, you've got the deal. And then I sent him a message back. I'm like, hey man, if you think this document, if the messaging I would make for you is very similar to this document, so if you don't like it, then I think you should find someone else who you're going to resonate better with, so good luck. And that was it. So again, I kind of realized like, it's not my work. Maybe it's just not his style. And he was just trying to get something out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an important message right there you mentioned, is that not every client, whether it's a coach to a marketer to another business, whatever it is, not everyone is made for someone else. And even within that relationship, not everything they do should be written in stone for us to take on, because I think it takes a long time to learn someone's voice and to understand what their passion and mission is. And so when you're working with a marketer, you have to really kind of get into the science of that person, of, how do they deliver their message and things like that, and what's comfortable for them and what they're willing to be uncomfortable with. So did you end up getting the client, or did he walk away? Did you part ways?
Oh yeah. So I,
Yeah.
I responded to him like I said that, hey,
Yeah.
if you don't like this, then I think you should find somebody else. Good luck.
Yeah.
I know he probably read that. He's like, oh wow, my tactic didn't work. And it's like, you know, I'm the one who's got the power here, who needs what you want. Like, you want marketing that works. Like, I'm the one that's here to give it to you. I don't need clients. I've got a wait list of clients. Okay. So I didn't really, I'm really glad actually. I really didn't want to take him on as a client anyway, but he kept asking me kind of for advice and what to do. And so I'm kind of pretty glad that actually happened.
Yeah, the reverse pitch is kind of interesting. I've actually done that before, because sometimes people are a little bit too aggressive with their approach with
Mhm.
marketing. So I want to go back to asking you, what is, aside from the storytelling, what is different about your approach working with clients that makes you stand out, or that you can say is really unique?
Mhm. Well, it's about the messaging part, the sales messaging, because where I see 99% of coaches going wrong is that they start with content, or start with trying to like put out a lot of stuff and have a really broad kind of message and speak to a lot of people. And that's kind of a big push that I've seen on LinkedIn. And just for a long time, like, we see influencers who are really successful and they have a lot of likes and comments, and have these tactics about making really like short, punchy content, and that you got to post every day and respond to all of your comments and all that. But what they don't say a lot, people don't know, is that these influencers are spending 5+ hours a day commenting, just commenting on and engaging on LinkedIn. Like, that's how they built these networks to get these, get these inbound leads. Like, it's not like you can just create content and people are just going to start coming to you. It takes a lot of time to build your network. So what I do with clients is create unique and compelling messaging first. So we find out, okay, who's this starving market that you can serve the most, someone that we can easily find, that has the funds, that has a problem that they really need. We don't want to go look for someone. We don't want to like sell prevention for people, or we don't want to just sell confidence to someone. We want to sell an executive who has a team, who like a dysfunctional team, and he's in the tech industry and he's trying to get from series A to B funding. So it's like, maybe this executive, yeah, is in a startup and this thing is growing, and it's like, hey, I'm going to help you to get your team up to 100% of their performance
Mhm,
potential and
mhm,
communicating better, because
mhm.
I know that you have this problem and your job and your company depends on it.
Yeah,
So when you find a market like that and create posts and tell stories targeted to that kind of person, all of a sudden, like, you don't need to. Another little side note. I mean, one of the big influencers, you said, before you send somebody a direct message, you need to comment on 10 of their posts and have a
yeah,
conversation with them 10 times before you send them a message to just say what's up. And it's like, you don't even know if this person wants what you have to buy. And even if
that's
they
right,
did, you don't even know if they're ready to buy now.
right.
So he's telling all these people to waste so much time when instead you could really figure out who you can help the most, create an offer and a message that they really need, and reach out to more people. And then you can send them a message and offer them something good, not a pitch slap at all, but an authentic value first kind of messaging. And then they'll read your content to be like, oh, this is great. Oh, he wants to get on a call? Sure, that sounds good. So I don't know, maybe the
Building
value.
a
Oh,
relationship,
yeah,
building that trust, because there's a lot of people who you can't trust on the social media platforms.
yeah,
I'm sure you get tons of them. I know I get tons of them of, we do this, we help this is what you need, etc. As a coach myself, I get people who are pitching the same, they're not even reading. So those bot systems I want to ask you about, they're not even reading who I am. They know nothing about my profile. They hired a third party to do this lead gen, and they're throwing stuff in the inbox. And it's like with
yeah.
with their invite to connect, like, wait a minute, slow your roll. I didn't even invite you in the door. So I think that there's definitely some room for improvement there. Um, how do you feel about the bot messages as opposed to spending time doing organic connections with people?
It's a total waste of time. I mean, I talked to half the people I talked to are like, spent $10,000 on some company who just set up automated direct messaging and I got nothing. And one of my clients said, I had this strategy. I sent out 1,000 direct messages to do this like partnering strategy and got zero leads, zero calls booked back from it. And the reason is, yeah, it's a very generic automated message. There's no targeting and there's no value. There's no compelling offer in this message that they're sending at all. Yeah, you need a little, you need targeting, you need to understand a market and yeah, have a value forward approach. And like with me, I mean, that same client, I'm gonna, toot my own horn here. After 2 weeks of using my strategy, he booked 12 calls in a week with that same, with this same audience. That was just his audience there. So it's like once you have the ecosystem set up, you create great content, you have great messaging, and you're doing that consistently, then you send them a message, and that's great. Then they're going to look at your profile and be like, oh, look at these cool stories, this great content. Oh, this person engages on LinkedIn. Oh, they've got recommendations. Yeah, I'll feel good about getting on a message with
Yeah,
with somebody, and
yeah,
that's how
there's
we
definitely,
connected too.
yeah, no, relationships is important. I mean, I've met some amazing people on LinkedIn, and you meet some that are not so great. And I have done the comment, or I've gotten clients just by commenting on somebody else's post, and somebody else read it and said, "You inspired me," and then they book a call, and that's like so
Mm,
empowering. And so it's a great feeling that your message has inspired somebody to want to reach out. That's what it's all about.
yeah.
Um, I want to put you on the spot here. Tell us an embarrassing story that you have vacillated whether you're going to put out there on social media, or are you an open book and don't care?
Embarrassing story. Well, yeah. I mean,
Because
I
people put out all kinds of personal things on LinkedIn, and it's become like,
yeah.
professional Facebook as far as I see. So I'm curious.
Yeah. I love to put personal stories out there,
Yeah.
but when I think about personal posts, yeah, I do put a lot of like personal stories, but I always have a leadership angle to it. Like it's always about having some kind of lesson, something that's empowering, that's going
Mhm.
to, yeah, empower my audience and get them feeling good. Um, so I'm not like a person that is just like a here's my food post or whatever, or
Yeah.
hey, have a great Saturday. I mean, I've definitely done that before, but I love to create great posts. Like I love to create content that's good. And even when I try to write something short, for some reason it comes out into some kind of lesson. Like I love that. And maybe it's a flaw, I'm trying to actually get better at being more open and like telling personal stuff. And I'm definitely getting better at it, and I don't know where the line is supposed to be if there is one. But so I'll tell you what, I can't think if I put out really personal, embarrassing stuff. But I did this rant, one of these rant posts I did. They're the most, they resonate. People engage with those the most, and they're like, yeah, I feel that and I resonate with that, and they work really well. So I think that's something actually for me to work on, Michelle.
Would you, now that you've been in Brazil for a couple of years, almost 2 years? Is it almost 2
Yeah,
years? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and I know that you are still, doing your business in your native English language. What do you think about doing some marketing in Portuguese or Português, as they say? Would you start that?
Yeah, I would. And sometimes on Instagram, I'll put my post in Portuguese. Like I'll
Oh,
translate
nice.
it and
Yeah.
put it there. Um, so I think that's going to happen more and more as time goes on. Like the thing with LinkedIn is there's not a there's definitely Brazilians that use LinkedIn, and Brazilian executive coaches that use LinkedIn, but there's not a lot.
Mm,
Um, and that's kind of just a limiting belief. I've just been so kind of like ingrained into my routine and who I'm
yeah.
connecting with and the message that I'm sending. And I'm branching out a bit, and I've definitely done more searches on LinkedIn to find Brazilians I could connect with. And just in life out here, I tell people what I do, and spreading it that way. So like yes, I definitely would work with Brazilians that know some English. Maybe they want to break into like the American English
Yeah,
speaking.
that's a thought because there you could definitely help because you know the culture and a lot more of the dynamic of how things work here.
Yeah.
Um, so before we wrap it up, I want to ask you, what are some dishes, and would you share anything, and could you see something related to food from Brazil that would relate to the business? Because people are, I'm a foodie and I love to correlate food with story and with business. In fact, somebody asked me yesterday a question, what is it you don't like about this particular acronym? What part, if that was a dish, what part would make you ill? And I said it would be the whole dinner plate. So we correlated, okay, this acronym is this part of it, and this is why I wouldn't like that, and this would leave a bad taste in my mouth. So if you were to do that with food, what would be addition in Brazilian food that you can correlate to business?
Hmm. Um, I think feijoada. So, I mean, feijoada is the most famous Brazilian dish, and
Okay.
it's black beans and made into kind of a stew with like all the different bits of meat. And it's not like the good parts of the meat. It's all like sure the good parts, but it's like the sausage, and you'll use like the feet and you could even like snout and belly and the carne, and not always, but there's like you use all these different bits of the meat, kind of what was left over, because it came from slaves in the early in those times in Brazil, where they were given really nothing, and so they had to use what they had of the meat to create something delicious. And that's where I've learned all of the best food comes from, is from people that you that are using like just whatever they have to make food, and then they learn how to to use minimal things to create something amazing. So, and feijoada is the best. Like everyone loves it. Like we eat feijoada every single day. So I think that's a perfect metaphor for business, is that, especially as an entrepreneur and growing, we're just using whatever we've got. Like, we don't know how to do marketing. Like, we don't know how to, I don't know, make a contract or like make a program. We're just like,
Sales
hey, we got
pitch,
this thing.
all of that. Yeah.
All this stuff we like don't know. We just like use what we have and we put it together and somehow make something delicious, something amazing, a business, when you work at it and
Yeah.
refine it and learn. So
That's a great analogy. So now I'm going to look out for the post, maybe with a
hey,
video from you of you either eating it, making it, maybe video taping somebody else who's making it, a great restaurant that you like that makes it, whatever it is. Because I think that that's a great analogy. And I am, like I said, a foodie. So I love that story. That's awesome. That's
nice.
a great way to start it. So, Ryan, thank you so much for being on the show. I think you shed a lot of light. I love your unique approach to marketing. You're so authentic with it. Your stories on LinkedIn are enjoyable to read. So tell people where they can find you. I know you hang out on LinkedIn. Where else can we find you? We'll have all of that in the show notes, but tell us a little bit more about where they can reach you to work with you, and a quick snippet of how you work with coaches.
hmm Okay, yeah, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I mean, the best place would be Copacabana, Rio de Janeiro. Just fly on down here. We can meet on the beach, drink a
We'll just look for
caipirinha.
you aimlessly on the beach.
Yeah, I'll be there. Post 5, Posto Cinco. That's where I live. So, but the other place is really just LinkedIn. I think
Okay.
just my profile. And that's, I think a testament to my marketing too. Everything goes through there. My content is the
Mhm.
best place to like learn a bit more about me. A link to my landing page is there. Recommendations, testimonials from past clients. All of that is there. So yeah, I mean, if you are a coach, especially an executive coach, and you're trying to, a lot, because I know a lot of coaches rely on referrals and word of mouth. So if you're trying to like use LinkedIn, get better messaging, better content, start bringing people into your business, starts with the messaging. That's what I can help you with.
Great, great. Um, where you can tell, if you can't hear it, I can. There's sirens in the background, so that's life of working from home and not having full soundproof rooms. But we're just going to keep going. Well, Ryan, thanks again so much for all your information and your authentic messaging today. And we will make sure that everything is in the show notes for people to get to your LinkedIn profile. Also, really quick, are you planning on writing anything that will be published?
Like books.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. My mom always said I should write books, and there'll definitely be a day. So thanks
Okay.
for saying that. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
let you know as soon as I
All
do.
right. And we'll have to have you back to promote the book and see what it's all about. And maybe there'll be some great stories in there from your business side to your personal side, a great combination of everything together. So thanks
Yeah,
again and all the best to you. And we'll see you on LinkedIn, and I'll talk to you soon.
sounds good. Thank you, Michelle. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Bye.